welcome to the Mindfulness broadcast. Today, as we round the corner and we head into the end of the year, which regardless, I think, of who celebrates what or religious affiliation or family status, it's just a busy time of year. What I find myself coaching a lot of folks on as we round the corner into this time of year are boundaries. Our healthy boundaries. How do we set and maintain healthy boundaries? And so I wanted to bring our attention back to that theme. Last year around this time, I offered I think it was a 2-hour training, and we had, I think, 199 people or something show up because it's just so real and relevant for all of us. And as I kind of dove into that work and prepared to give that, to do that training, what I kept being reminded of was this one simple, profound, and really, really hard thing, which is that I am responsible for setting and maintaining my boundaries. It's nobody else's job. It's mine. And so I have to, as I've really dove into this work over the last year, remind myself of that and know, what the gift of mindfulness brings to me is when I've turned the corner, I'm more aware when I'm blaming others, when I'm trying to manage other people's responses or reactions to my boundaries. I know that I've gotten blurry, and that I need to lovingly and with compassion for self and others come back to that platform of this is my job. Maybe it's my job to remind them. Maybe it's my job to remove myself from the situation. Maybe it's my job to state clearly what my boundaries are because I haven't done that. Maybe it's my job to respect my own boundaries so that I am mimicking to others what's important to me. But that's all my work. The other thing that came out of that, the other profound work that came out of that I remind myself of is how I state my boundaries matters. So when I say things like, you can't do that to me, I am trying to control somebody else's behavior. So when I'm setting my clear boundary, I have to remind myself that this is what I'm going to do. So when you speak to me like that, I'm going to remove myself from the conversation. I'm not willing to be part of these conversations if they don't feel healthy. That's a boundary that I can maintain, right? Because I can walk away. I can't control how you speak to me, but I can control what I do when you speak to me, right? So playing with those two concepts. And the third thing, really, I think that those concepts must be built on is the fundamental belief that we are worthy of well-being, of self-care, of prioritizing ourselves, of setting boundaries, of living into the life that we want to lead, that we are fundamentally worthy of setting boundaries. So we're going to use our practice this morning to kind of cultivate a sense of all of that. I've written some notes, so usually I kind of close my eyes and go into the meditation with you, and instead I might have my eyes open more. So if you notice that, just know I really want to hit the points that I wrote on, because I think this is such an important topic always, but certainly as we go into the holidays, it can get really fuzzy, especially in well-patterned relationships with family, with friends, and we can revert. And so I want to just bolster us as we move into this season. And with that, go ahead and settle into your space. Find your body this morning. Notice it, feel it, say good morning to it. Wrap that good morning and greeting with gratitude. We're here for another day. What a beautiful blessing that is. Whatever lies ahead, we have our breath, we have our body, we have this moment. So just land in that. Everything else is secondary to that. We're here. Be with your breath as it moves in and out of your body, wrapping that in gratitude. I'm so grateful to have this breath, to be breathing in fully, to be exhaling fully. Allow your body to be in an intentional, attentive posture, reminding your brain and your body that you're doing something on purpose here. Not so rigid, not so relaxed, just attentive, purposeful. And then allow yourself to notice as we talk about the season, about holidays, about friends and families and colleagues and scheduling and to-do lists, all wrapped in this idea of boundaries. Just notice, observe what happens for you physically, mentally, emotionally, and work to not wrap that in judgment, just observation. Things like, oh, I notice I kind of scoffed, like boundaries, right? You don't know my family. Or I noticed I felt really something align, something resonate within me. Just notice without attachment to what it should be or could be. What are the thoughts? What's the inner dialogue? And in that same practice, notice and observe your inner dialogue and your response when I ask you to embrace the idea that you're worthy of setting and maintaining boundaries, and that you give yourself permission to do that, and that you simultaneously give others permission to have their own responses and reactions. I give myself permission to set boundaries, to maintain healthy boundaries, and I release any responsibility of managing other people's responses, reactions, and emotions. Notice and observe. I want you to turn your attention to setting these intentional, healthy boundaries over the next couple weeks, couple months. Pardon me. And imagine that this is a bubble of white light just surrounding you. This permission, this worth, this ability to set and maintain healthy boundaries. That this is a white light creating protection around your well-being, your self-care, your time, your values. This bubble represents your personal boundaries, a space that is sacred and is created and maintained by you. Visualize this expanding as you inhale and exhale, settling into that space. This is yours to grow, to activate, to maintain. Fill that bubble with affirmations. My well-being is a priority. I give myself permission to set boundaries. As you're in that light, and if you can't envision it, just feel it or listen. As you're in there, in this bubble, in this place of worthiness, in this place of permission, imagine a scenario over the next few weeks where you might need to activate this bubble. See if you can envision that. And there's definitely some projecting. Try to, with as much detail as possible, imagine setting and maintaining these healthy boundaries, letting go of of trying to control others. What do you say? What do you do? What words are you using to let others know? So rather than saying something like, I agreed to do this to make everyone happy, instead, when you're in that bubble, you say, I'm prioritizing what's really important to me, and others have the right to feel how they feel. When you're in that bubble, rather than saying, I'm the only one that does anything around here, you just leave it all to me. In that bubble, you say, I'm 100% in for the next 2 hours, then I'm done for the evening. Certainly, this won't all get done in 2 hours, though. Do you want to join, or would you rather leave it undone? Listen to yourself. Speak these words. Speaking it even through a shaky voice. Speaking it, perhaps feelings of guilt are all around, and you still set your boundaries. Speaking those words even through discomfort and newness and unknown territory. Bring your attention back to your breath. Maybe you keep this bubble around you, or maybe you shrink it and tuck it in a pocket. Always there for you to access through your breath. Finding a deep inhale this morning. Allowing a deep, slow exhale. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thanks for joining me this morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're here again next week. I hope you join us. A reminder, if you do usually join the coaching circle once a month or the mastermind once a month, we are not having that in December. We'll pick it back up in January. See you next Friday at the broadcast. Bye.